What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Who You Got. It's your boy Rado.
And MELO.
This is the sports podcast where we talk about highlights, stats, and your favorite sports news. And, I want to just thank everyone for listening to their podcast, listening to their first episode.
For sure.
We just started a few weeks ago, and I want to thank all the people downloading, subscribing. We really love all the support. So we really want to thank all the fans for following us.
Yes, sir.
Follow us on social media and everywhere. So thank you guys. Now, Melo, we had the play-in tournament last week.
Oh yeah.
Did you watch any of that?
Of course, every second of it. Even if I stood up till 12 o'clock.
No,
we got a 50-piece combo from Jason Tatum. Disgusting.
That was beautiful.
Oh yes, he definitely did his thing in the absence of Jaylen Brown. Obviously, Kemba Walker stepped up as well. Then obviously, coincidentally for the seventh matchup or for the seventh seed in the other conference, we had the Lakers versus Warriors. LeBron had a 22-point triple-double. Obviously, that dagger over Curry in the last few minutes. So, definitely some good games last week.
That clutch three was pretty amazing. I'm not going to lie.
For sure.
That was beautiful.
So, definitely
crazy playing games.
Now that the play-in tournament is done for this week, we definitely got the NBA awards. Regular season is over with. Let's talk about who's in there, who's the candidates, and obviously who you got. And then obviously we got to talk about the first round matchups. Definitely see who we're gonna pick there, who we think gonna move on.
That's right. First round just started up, so matchups are all set.
This much closer to NBA champion. So
this season is getting exciting. So exciting this season. Seriously.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Everything's shaping up so crazy. I mean, I know it's been a crazy season, but just the way you're seeing things finally shape up in the playoffs with the matchups and everything. You're seeing the good team, the really best teams, playing. They're going to be playing tough. They're playing some tough matchups.
Yeah, it's playoff basketball. Everyone's got to step up.
So
step up or go home.
Let's I don't know. What do you think? Should we get talking about it? What should we talk about first today?
Let's get into these awards. Regular season's over. Before we even get into the postseason, let's talk about who did their thing, for the last few months. It was definitely a rough season, with the short, not shortened, but, a lot more games in the short
short season, 72 games,
COVID, everyone getting hurt, but, we still have people excel.
Right.
We still going to have to give some people awards, and obviously these are professionals, so they did their thing.
No, seriously. So, of course, the MVP conversation is the first one we're going to talk about. I'm just going to give the top three, players that are, up for the award. Nikola Jokic, Denver Nuggets, of course. Joel Embiid, Philadelphia 76ers. And right now, the third person is Giannis Antetokounmpo, according to NBA.com.
That's a fact. He is.
Now, of course, there's some debate towards that, That's why I was going to see, Melo, who you got for an MVP conversation?
So for MVP, it's a little difficult for me. I noticed that they always give MVPs to obviously really great players, but that are also most of the time are really great teams. High playoff seed, top contenders. But for me, I personally, I got Steph Curry, man. The Warriors supposed to be written off this year. My man is out there getting double teamed, triple teamed, and still came away with the scoring title. 32 points a game. Come on. He got 32 points, 5 rebounds, close to 6 assists, 48% shooting, 42 from the 3, and 91 from the 3-point. The next best scorer on his team was Andrew Wiggins at 18 points. That's literally a 13-point difference.
Yeah, how is crazy.
And right now, they basically sat there and worked their way up into playoff contention. How is that not the most valuable player in the league right now? The scoring leader. How is that not?
Well, I'm not gonna.
I know he's not gonna get it, but
you're putting up a pretty good defense for him, and those stats don't lie. To be honest, those are ridiculous stats.
For sure,
he's a scoring champion right now. But I'm probably gonna have to go with Nikola Jokic this year.
That's who you got?
That's who I got this year. This man has been playing ridiculous. Not just all year he's been playing ridiculous, but also when Jamal Murray went out in the middle of the season, towards about like with 25 games left in the season. He stepped up. He really did. He had 26.4 points a game, 11 rebounds, over 8 assists, 1.3 steals. Just to name a few, he had 60 double-doubles this year, which is ridiculous.
Monster.
16 triple-doubles. For a big man, that's pretty hard to do.
That's prolific.
Especially because Jamal Murray is really the point guard on this team, who still gets about 6 assists per game. For him to get 8 assists and 16 triple-doubles, ridiculous. But the reason I really have him as the MVP is because he played all 72 games. Everybody else that's really on the list, Embiid, Giannis, Steph, they all missed a few games here and there. I mean, obviously the number 2 guy is Embiid, and we can talk about him. He scored 28.5. He had 11 rebounds a game, 1.4 blocks, so he was pretty amazing too.
That's
but he
a legit big man.
One of the best in the game, right? Probably the best big man in the game right now. But I don't know. Jokic just played better this year. He just did, and he played more games. He played 72 games. So honestly, I got Nikola Jokic for the MVP. But I do love your take on that, on the Steph Curry thing, because he did take his team, so far. Nobody thought they were going to do anything without Klay Thompson. And why don't we talk a little bit about what the MVP really means? Because obviously most years the MVP is usually the best player on the best team. That's where everyone really, sees that. How do you feel about that? Like, do you feel that's the right way to judge MVP, or do you think it should be something different?
So a lot of years you will see people win MVP, but will fall short in their playoff contention. They won't make it all the way. They won't win a ring. So if the playoffs don't count, then it should just be regular season. And if we're just talking regular season,
it is a regular season award.
Then we should definitely be talking about someone who's basically Steph Curry's a prime example. A team that was supposed to not go anywhere, have very limited scores, no depth, came away with the scoring title, basically being guarded ridiculous at all times. He was constantly just pulling people away from every defender. Like, I don't care. We'll let Wiggins make the shot. We'll let Poole make the shot. Draymond, go ahead, take a 3. We dare you to. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he came away with the scoring title and got them in playoff contention. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, how is that not the most valuable player? But obviously, that's not what MVP is pretty much turned to. So I understand that. Jokic, come on, big man is damn near a triple-double threat at all points.
I mean, he's a beast.
That's disgusting. I love my big men, and I definitely love my big man who could pass. So, I understand. He's definitely gonna walk away, and I can't say he don't deserve it. But for me, I feel like the conversation should be a little different for sure.
See, now if we're going by your criteria, then honestly, Steph Curry probably would be my MVP too. Then, because that should really be the MVP conversation. Most valuable player should be, if you take the player off the team, how much worse will they be?
Exactly.
I mean,
the most valuable player.
Of course, now that Jamal Murray is not on the team with Nikola Jokic, if you took him off the team, they would be much worse. They would not be in the playoffs.
If he didn't play all year.
At that, I mean, he also had a great season. And I've been watching it for the last 3 years. How much better he's gotten every single year. And this year, he's actually really threatening people with those triple doubles, and even on defense, he's gotten a lot better.
He definitely has.
And
lost some weight.
But really, I mean, Steph Curry, he's taken the team by himself so far as he can. One man show. Like, people didn't think he could do it. People really didn't think he could do it. And for him, to be able to do what he does, I do agree that he should get a lot more MVP votes this year than a lot of other guys. Maybe even more than Embiid. Honestly, Embiid, he only played 58 games, I think it was. So I don't think he deserves it as much as even Curry or obviously Nikola Jokic.
No, for sure. No, I definitely agree.
So who else we got? So next up, we're going to talk about the Rookie of the Year, and the top 3 Rookie of the Year candidates are LaMelo Ball from the Charlotte Hornets, Anthony Edwards, Minnesota Timberwolves, and Tyrese Halliburton from the Sacramento Kings.
Kings, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, he stepped it up this year. So let's talk about him. Who you got for Rookie of the Year?
Man, that's just clear for me. I've been following this man since he was pretty much like in that 7th grade. Obviously he comes from a family of hoopers with his brothers. His dad
talked about him last week.
His dad got a loud mouth. LaMelo Ball, man. I mean, honestly, I feel like if you didn't know what he was going to bring to the league, then you just didn't pay attention. He came out to the Hornets. He didn't start. They had a couple guards already. He became the 3rd leading scorer and pretty much shined whether he was coming off the bench or starting. I mean, we got 15, almost 16 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. In his first year, obviously, we knew his shooting was going to be a little off, but he finished at 43% overall with 35 from the 3 and 75% from the free throw. You can only get better from there. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, they understand the potential he has, so they're just going to give him the reins, and this is just the beginning for him. So that's, for me, clear contention. It's no other choice. Rookie of the Year, for sure, LaMelo Ball.
Damn, I mean, that's a really good choice. That's a good choice.
That's a fact.
But see, I'm going to have to disagree with you.
Really?
Yeah, I see LaMelo Ball as a future MVP.
No,
but
for
this year, I give it to Anthony Edwards. And
really?
Let me tell you why.
Go ahead.
Okay, Anthony Edwards, he's averaging 15 points a game, 4 rebounds, 2.5 assists this year. Okay, that's just the start. LaMelo Ball did miss some games this year.
Nah, that's a fact.
Anthony Edwards only missed 3 games this year. Over the last 36 games, Edwards averaged 23.8 points a game, 5.3 rebounds, and 3.4 assists.
Oh yeah, he stepped it up.
He's stepping it up.
Yeah.
That's pretty much after the All-Star break.
Yeah, I feel your durability matter.
Also, obviously the last 36 games, Minnesota went 16-20, so they played a lot better. They're not a great team this year. They started out 7-29 before that, but they ended up, a lot better when he started playing better.
He stepped into his role, definitely. I feel you.
And he actually needed the trade between Golden State and Minnesota. He needed Russell and Wiggins to trade because he played a similar style to what Wiggins plays. So that's really why he stepped it up. That's a big reason why he did. And this year, I think he's gonna get it. I don't know. That's my pick. But honestly, this year might be a toss up. I could really see him doing even co Rookie of the Years. They've done that before. It's possible.
They've done that for literally 2 of the greatest players of all time.
Yeah. But
I understand these both. They're gonna be great all-stars, but I feel like they're gonna give it to LaMelo, especially the fact that he still came back.
Yeah, he did come back the last few games of the season.
Still play a little while.
And I mean, they played in the play-in tournament. I can't say that about Minnesota. Minnesota was really a bad team throughout the year, except, like I said, the last 36 games they played almost at 500, and Edwards stepped it up. So that's really the only reason I got him. He really stepped it up like the last half of the season, when really LaMelo was kind of injured, and he did come back. I'll give him that.
For sure.
But that was I'm gonna say this is a close one. We'll see what happens.
No,
that's gonna be a really close one, though. I don't know.
That's definitely gonna be a good.
We'll see, though.
Definitely a good race for sure.
Well, next up, we got the Defensive Player of the Year, and we got Rudy Gobert from Utah Jazz, Draymond Green from Golden State Warrior, and Ben Simmons from Philadelphia 76ers. So let me get your take on defensive. Who you got?
I mean, as a Celtics fan, I can't stand the Sixers.
Damn. Of course. That's your nemesis right there.
For sure. But we're talking about Ben Simmons. My man is 6'11" with a 7-foot wingspan. Can guard 1 through 5. Definitely, a little strong, a little quick. He got good hands. He's out here doing his thing. He's 14 points per game, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. You know what I'm saying? His defensive rating is definitely high. I understand Gobert is out there blocking everyone, stuffing that paint up, but for me, versatility is just such a big thing, and to have someone like that to be able to lead a team like that, one of the best defensive teams in the league, obviously the first team.
They are number 1 seed, yeah.
Exactly. For sure, he's a big reason behind that. So, I definitely give it to Ben Simmons. What about you? Who you got?
So, I mean, you got the number one seed in the East player, and I got the number one seed in the West player, Rudy Gobert.
Not a bad choice.
Rudy Gobert, I mean, the only thing with him, he's won the award twice. If there is some voter fatigue, they might not give it to him. But honestly, he's running away with this award. He's averaging over 2 blocks a game. He's playing ridiculous right now on a team that's the number one defensive team in the league.
They are.
And a stat from 538.com, his defensive metrics are at an all-time great level. Top 10 great level of all time. Which is ridiculous. He's up there with Will Chamberlain and Dennis Rodman. Like, these are names that are in the Hall of Fame. So, playing defense like he does, he's gotten the award twice. Of course, some people are not going to give it to him because of that. There's going to be some, some guys that want, a little bit of turnover. But when he's on the floor, teams score 11.9 less points per 100 possessions. So that's pretty ridiculous. He's obviously bringing the defense up, bringing people's possessions down, making sure that they can't get in the paint. He's blocking pretty much everyone's shot that gets in there. Sure. He's a beast inside. There's really nobody else that can block a shot like him. Embiid is up there as far as blocking, but as far as like his stats overall, making sure that he controls the paint, and also the percentages that he plays against. Anytime he obviously plays in the West, there's a lot of great big men in the West. Jokic, Karl-Anthony Towns,
Oh yeah.
A lot of great big men, even Anthony Davis, and he stops these guys a lot of the times. He brings their percentages down a lot. No,
a lot of people underestimate the ability to make people have to change their shots. And Rudy Gobert is someone where, like, you literally cannot, absolutely not, try to take a step in that paint without knowing where he is at all times. As simple as that. If not, then you're just making huge mistakes. Nah, I mean, we're talking about 2 times. Like,
he's
of course,
a 2-time winner. So
it's not like he just all of a sudden got bad. So yeah, nah, he definitely is good in good contention for this award.
But
so
I hear you. Ben Simmons, he is number 1 on the East. He's playing pretty great right now.
He stepped his defense.
Definitely stepped his defense up.
For
getting
sure.
Steals. He's obviously like one of the biggest point guards in the
league. This year, he
took
on the ability to I have to guard the best player on their team. Like this year, he really stuck it. He's made a point. He's made a point to, and obviously he's been mouthy about it, but he's been backing it up for sure. So that's how I feel for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's a good pick. I'm still sticking with Gobert though. I'm sticking
once
with
again,
Gobert.
We're gonna see a good race.
That's crazy. I mean, we got like different players for every single one of these, so that's pretty crazy. I like that. All right, so let's get into the most improved player real quick. We got Jeremy Grant from Detroit Pistons, Michael Porter Jr. from Denver Nuggets, and Julius Randle from New York Knicks. Who you got for most improved player this year?
For me, honestly, I don't really know who honestly is going to win that award, but for me, my personal pick has got to be Julius Randle. I mean, the Knicks are just written off this year. Everyone made fun. Oh, that's the one you got. That's the person you came to save New York. And I understand that's not who you wanted. But my man came out here, 24 points per game, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, really doing his thing. All career highs in all categories. You know what I'm saying? Basically, his mid range is improved. And for me, I don't know if people just don't get it, but a lot of people are obviously the NBA is centered around, scoring in the paint, shooting threes.
Right.
But when you get to playoff mode in a 7-game series, that's the 2 things they're going to try to take away. So if you realize, I feel like most NBA champions have a just efficient mid-range scorer. You have to be able to put your back to the basket in that area between defenders. Obviously, do what you got to do. You have to be able to go into the paint, and obviously, you have to be able to get off the screen. So, Julius Randle got 2 or 3 of those, and as a big man, he's definitely versatile. Can obviously pass the ball, and I definitely think that he wins this award. I don't know if he will, but for me, that's my pick for sure. What about you? Who you got?
Man, I mean, that's a great pick. He played great this year, and the Knicks did too. But damn, again, we're gonna disagree.
Oh man, how? Who do you got? Who
I
you
got
got?
Jeremy Grant this year.
What?
So
No,
listen,
he did. Yes.
So
Yes.
listen, like this award is not like the MVP. Like
Yeah.
we were talking before, the MVP. The MVP has to pretty much go the best player on the best team, or pretty much around
Close around
the best team. You know, he has to be on a great team. This award, most improved player, could be any player around the league. And even though the Detroit Pistons were one of the worst teams in the league, my man Jeremy Grant stepped it up.
Mm-hmm.
So last year, he had 12 points a game. This year, he's got 22.3,
Oh yeah,
playing 32 minutes a game.
that's an improvement for sure.
He stepped it up for them this year, and they needed a power forward. Obviously, you know, Blake Griffin left. You know, he went to Brooklyn. I mean, in the beginning of the season, he was only on the bench really in Detroit, so he wasn't really making much of an impact. But last year, you know, that's why he was really hindering Jeremy Grant's progression. But this year, he's just stepped it up so much. You know, he's killing it in the paint. He's playing great defense.
Doing
as well.
his thing for
He's
sure.
playing great defense. If you look at his per 100 possessions, he's bringing teams down by 7 points a game on their power forwards. So
He's
any
lengthy,
power forward,
quick. Yeah,
their power forwards have 7 less points a game. So, you know, let's say like he's playing against AD. AD averages 25. You know, he's going to bring him down to like, you know, 18 points a game. That's what he does. He's pretty.
He's definitely
pretty good
versatile on
inside.
both ends, and he could score.
Lengthy arms. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he can block. He hasn't really gone into working out too much. I'm not gonna say that is not working out,
He
but
gotta get a little bit.
he hasn't
more
gone into his body yet.
bulkier.
Let's say,
Yeah.
you know, like he needs to like form into his body. He needs to bulk up a little bit.
Nah, I hear you.
You know, right now he's like a young KG, like a young Kevin Garnett when he was you know, lengthy, skinny.
Right, that
you
body
know.
type. Yeah.
Once he gets into the body, you know, once he, you know, goes in the weight room a few more years, he's still got great potential. I think he's gonna be a great fit for them. If they can work a few like guards around him, you know, they can do some pick and roll game around him. He's gonna be a great player. So really, that's really
he
who I
can
got.
score from everywhere. So once again, different picks, but definitely both good picks. So
I mean,
I don't know who's
both
gonna
good
win
picks.
that.
That's a tough
Another
one.
good
Like,
race,
all of
man.
these
It's
are
ridiculous.
This year, it's been
It's
one of
hard.
the toughest, you know, toughest to pick. You know,
definitely hard.
from everywhere. I mean, you know, there's a few things that you can really choose like for sure, but most of the things, you know, they're pick'ems.
Nah, I hear you.
So
We
the
don't
next
know how
one
they're gonna vote.
we're pretty much gonna go into is the sixth man, and this one should pretty much be interesting too, because you know we got two people from the same team actually on the sixth man. We got Jordan Clarkson on the Utah Jazz and Joe Ingles, and then we got Derrick Rose on New York Knicks.
Right.
So who you got for this one, sixth man?
So this is another award where I feel so. For me, the fact that the last 2 years, two players on the same team has been candidates. This like
Last year they have.
it lets you know that the qualifications for this award is just really different. Personal opinion, how you performed that year, you know, how your team performed. It really just kind of all counts.
Well, really, let's tell people like for sixth man, all you need to be factored into the award is you have to play over 25 minutes from the bench.
From the bench, exactly.
That's really what has to be factored in.
So you got two people for one team, and then Derrick Rose, basically the top three. And my choice is Derrick Rose. So obviously he was over there in Detroit, and he came over to the Knicks, but he played 35 games for them. Obviously came off the bench. Once again, the Knicks were written off. They weren't supposed to do nothing.
They were though.
He came off the bench.
Everyone.
He's scoring 15 points and 4 assists. He had at least 10, 20-point games in pretty much the 35 games that he came in. So he pretty much he held down that second unit. Bench scoring is crucial in the NBA to winning games. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
Like we actually in this play-in tournament seen a lot of teams give up leads when their stars went out. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
true. A lot of second quarter,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of second quarter leads get blown because of that. You know, nobody really has like a lot of depth, and you know.
Yeah, and it helps when you have a point guard who could do that, especially someone like D Rose. You know, like obviously we all love the story. You know, so definitely my choice for this year is definitely Derrick Rose. Let's get that man a Sixth Man of the Year award. What about you? Who you got?
I like that, man. I like that pick, But again, we're gonna disagree on this one.
I mean, I hear you. I
love Derrick Rose.
Let me
precate this, but I love Derrick Rose. He's always been one of my favorite players to play the game. Obviously, former MVP, one of the youngest MVPs to ever receive the award, and obviously he's a great player. He did switch teams this year. That's one reason why I wouldn't necessarily give him the award, because in the beginning of the season he did start for the Detroit Pistons. So if I was to look at it as far as like a whole season, who started, who was on the bench, he did get traded pretty early on in the season. So you really can't hold it as much against them.
Right.
But that's one of the only issues I have with him. But for my sixth man, I got Jordan Clarkson.
Oh, you can't go wrong with that.
Utah Jazz, number 1 team in the West.
Mm-hmm.
So this man is averaging 18.4 points a game, 4 rebounds, 2.5 assists from the bench, 28 minutes a game. Ridiculous. He's playing ridiculous. Imagine his PER 36 he's probably averaging like 27 points a game on his PER 36.
I hear you.
He's playing great. He's obviously a great 3-point shooter. Everyone knows that. 42% from the 3. He's gotten a lot better from the mid-range. That's what they needed.
Mm-hmm.
Utah needed that this year. And, him playing the pick-and-roll game, with Donovan Mitchell, with Gobert, they're playing it really great. Going inside, passing it out. They're passing the ball around great. They're the number 1 offensive passing team in the league as far as when they're on offense, they get the most passes.
That's their motion. That's how they play, and I love it for sure. That's why they're first.
Crazy ball movement.
Like you got 2 people really coming off the bench as candidates, and you got pretty much 2 dominant people on the starting lineup. So,
right. Of course, let's say Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles is obviously a great shooter as well. He averages 15 points as well. So you can't discard him.
But those points per game though for Clarkson.
18 is
he's coming off the bench and dropping buckets. Yeah,
that's almost starting points.
He's coming off the bench and dropping buckets. That's for sure. So yeah, definitely, obviously 2 picks opposite again, but for sure, close race.
This is gonna be a close one too. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it's gonna be a real close one.
I agree. That's definitely a good one.
I definitely agree.
For sure. For sure. I love it.
The last one that we really got is the coach of the year.
Yeah.
And the three candidates we got are Quinn Snyder from the Utah Jazz, number 1 team in the West. Tom Thibodeau from New York Knicks, number 4 team in the East, and Monty Williams, number 2 team in the West. So let's talk about that. Who you got for coach of the year this year? Who you think is gonna be getting that award?
So obviously, I understand what the Jazz are doing. They're efficient on both ends. First team in the West. Suns, no one even knew what they were supposed to do, but they're out here the 2nd seed in the West, and that's crazy. But man, I don't know if you haven't heard it anywhere else, but I'll make sure I tell you, and I'll tell you more than once. The Knicks were written off. I don't understand. No one cared about these people, man. My man Tom Thibodeau, 21-45 last year. They came out here 41-31. Obviously over 500 winning record. 4th seed in the playoffs. 3rd defensive team, allowed the fewest points in the league. I don't think people understood that. Obviously, there's better defensive teams.
Tom Thibodeau's always been a great defensive, coach.
Yeah, end of the season,
always been...
the last 20 games, they went 16-4. Basically, did their thing. They're hot. They got home seed for the first round. Man, they're gonna make some noise, man, and they already made some noise. Like I said, man, the Knicks are written off. I definitely gotta give my pick to Tom. He did his thing. I understand what the Suns and Jazz are doing over there in the West, but the East ain't that easy either, man. They out here getting superstars out here. So
the East has gotten a lot better.
Yeah, the fact that the Knicks are sitting out there in 4th spot, man, they're looking good right now, and I love it. And definitely, it goes to show you put a good group of players together and a good coach. Especially for the Knicks, I felt like they all had the same. All right, we don't care about anything else, but let's try to win. Simple as that. No one cares about nothing. We don't care who do what. Let's just try to win. And obviously, you got Julius Randle stepping into his role. out here pretty much improving.
Yeah.
Candidate for most improved player of the
That's
year.
true.
D Rose came in the trade coming off the bench. Obviously, you still got RJ, you know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, I definitely got time. What about you? Who you got?
Man, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. But see, this is why I love this show, bro, because I love your points that you're giving, but again, I disagree with you. I disagree with you on this one.
Oh, wow.
I do. I
mean,
the points
there
were
ain't
great.
no bad ones.
Knicks played
so
great.
Who you got?
Everyone was great on that list. They were. But honestly, this year I got Monty Williams.
Oh, okay. Yes. Actually, that's a very great pick. Yes.
Now let's talk about the Suns a little bit. You know, and let me not just start out from this year. Let's start out from last year. Remember, he became the interim coach. You know, before the bubble even started. You know, this was before March, before they stopped the season. He became the interim coach, and then when they actually went into the bubble, he was actually the coach. So last year in the bubble, he was 8-0. They went 8-0 in the bubble.
They destroyed.
They went from 34-39 last year, not even making the playoffs, to being second in the West. Really, the only player they got is Chris Paul. Of course, Chris Paul is a monster.
Point guard.
God. Top 5 in MVP voting. I'm sure he's gonna be. He's obviously a Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer. One of the best to ever play the game. You know, he's able to distribute like nobody else, really.
The game's so slow for him.
But Monty Williams, him being able to actually portray his offense onto Chris Paul is something that not many people could really understand. You know, not many people that really know the NBA, because if you think about it, you know, the point guard is really your coach on the floor. You know, but the coach and the point guard, they have to be like really tied, you know, to the brain. They have to be going at it, you know. They really have to go together.
They have to implement the plan.
Yeah, and
for sure,
the way that Monty Williams is doing it is the best in the league, I believe. To be able to be second in the West. Remember, the West has some of the toughest teams: the Clippers, Lakers. You know, obviously Utah Jazz this year stepped it up. Denver Nuggets. You know, these teams should be the top teams, really.
No, for sure.
But they came from, you know, not making it to being second in the playoffs. So I gotta give it to them this year.
Second. That's ridiculous. No, honestly, I can't even be mad at you. That's an excellent pick. You know, and we'll see.
But honestly, Tom Thibodeau and you know, he's played a great season too. Obviously, Derrick Rose used to play with him in Chicago, so that's why.
I also was saying, like, Knicks obviously they made their noise, but their defense is really slept on.
Yeah.
Like, Tom came in there and tried to start a culture, and you had a bunch of young guys who just
and with a guy like
picked
Randall,
up from random places, and they believed in it. So that's why I feel like that Coach of the Year aspect really belongs to him, because of that. Like, he really pulled random people together and like let's make this happen. So I definitely feel you though. For sure.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, it's a good pick, man. This one's gonna be definitely a tough one too. All these ones, I mean, MVP might be a little bit easier to pick this year, but everything else is gonna be a toss-up.
No, it's a great year for award choices. Everyone's played their ass off. You know, they're doing their thing. We got so many tough choices. So I mean,
I'm excited.
I envy. Like I said, obviously we chose our picks, but like, I feel like if I was personally having to choose for an actual award, like, this would be a lot more pressure, you know. So I don't envy those people. So that's gonna be.
I mean, the sports writers are the ones making it. And, you know, it's tough this year.
It's definitely gonna be tough
pickings, you know.
It's so crazy.
Tough. So I don't know. Let's get into something a little different. Let's get into the first round playoffs.
Playoffs started. 16 teams have made it. And they about to start the first round. Let's get it.
Yep. So first round matchups are right here. You know, they're starting on Saturday and today. So let's talk about the first round matchups. You know,
for sure.
What's the first one you want to talk about, Melo?
We got the Heat and Bucks. You know, the Heat and Bucks played 3 times this season. Bucks took that series 2-1. I love both teams. You know, I try to take my bias as a Celtics fan out of all my choices in the East. So, I'll basically tell you what I love about both teams. The Heat, their defense is also overrated. They limit drives a lot. You got Butler, amazing defender, and I don't know if people know, but Bam was definitely a top 5 choice for Defensive Player of the Year as well. So they definitely know how to stuff that paint. They definitely do that well. And then you got the Bucks. Obviously, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year. They definitely improved their bench scoring. They now have 7 people, obviously 5 starters, 2 bench people that score double digits.
Oof.
They get the ball moving.
That's nasty.
Lethal from long range.
That's crazy.
And obviously, they top 5 offense and defense. Top 5 offense. They used to be top 5 offense, defense, but basically, actually, I'll go right into it. That's one of the things I don't like about them. Their defense has actually been a little sketchy this year. So that's something that Miami could be able to exploit. They're slow on shooters. They like to clog the paint first, and they're slow on shooters. So they definitely could get that going. But obviously, the problem with Miami is that they're inconsistent. So
Gotcha.
that's going to be a tough matchup. But what about you? What do you feel about this matchup?
I mean, this is gonna be a crazy matchup, honestly. Obviously you got Giannis and Middleton versus Jimmy and Bam. Jimmy's been playing crazy this year, like you said.
Oh, he mad.
23.4 game, 4 points a game, 53% shooting. I mean, what can you say about after having to really step it up in Miami last year? Them making it to the finals, obviously losing to LA in the bubble. This year, they might have not came out looking as good as everyone thought they might have looked, but then again, they weren't a top team last year either.
Nah, they weren't.
And if you remember, the team they beat last year was Milwaukee.
To advance,
exactly. Obviously, you said Miami has a top 10 defense, which is one of the best in the league, obviously, but the Bucks are one of the top offenses in the league, top 5. They're going to win the pace battle. They're so good, with the fast break. They get the most fast break points in the league. Nobody can really guard Giannis on that team. I don't see anybody. They're going to have Duncan Robinson on them. Maybe Bam Adebayo a few times, but Bam is going to be having to, guard somebody like Brook Lopez as well.
But they still got Middleton.
They do.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tough matchup. But tell me who you got for this series, though. Who you think is going to win it, though? And how many games, too?
So, obviously, the Heat took that last year. But like I said, the Bucks might have took a little step back defensively. They definitely took a step up offensively. And there was just certain players for the Heat that just didn't step up how I felt like they should have stepped up. So I got the Bucks in 6. That's how I feel like that first round is gonna go for that series. What about you? Who you got?
Damn. You know what? I actually got the same thing. I got the Bucks in 6. Giannis is too powerful.
Yeah. Oh no, for
obviously.
sure.
Middleton is gonna hit his threes in this series. Jimmy is definitely gonna be able to, take over 1 or 2 games.
Right.
It's gonna be mostly Giannis taking over the series. He's gonna be mad from last year. That's what I think.
I don't trust everybody else on Miami.
Yeah, I mean, other than really Jimmy and Duncan Robinson, who can hit his threes,
Right.
This year, you really can't trust nobody else. You really can't.
Yeah, games throughout the season, like here and there, obviously they matter.
Right.
But when it comes to a 7-game series,
right,
you have to buckle down and really take away the other players and team strength. You learn their schemes, you really
learn matchups.
Yeah,
right.
it's a lot different, and I definitely think the Bucks could pull away with this one for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, man.
That's
I totally
dope.
agree.
Right,
I got Milwaukee for it too as well.
We'll take that.
I like that. So let's go into the next matchup. What's the next matchup we got?
Next, we got the Clippers versus the Mavericks. So, obviously, they played each other 3 times. The Mavs took that 2-1. Obviously, throughout the year in all these matchups, you have injuries, people not playing, load management. They were squishing games together. So, like I said, season games, they matter. But at the end of the game, when it comes to a 7-game series, it's different. So for the Clippers, man, come on, you got Kawhi and you got PG-13.
Yeah, two of the top 10 players of the game.
For sure. We'll see if we can get some playoff P instead of pandemic P this year.
Damn.
We'll definitely see if he could come through. But
Right.
they both been playing really good basketball. Like the team overall, they're second in their offensive efficiency. You know, they're pretty much first in 3-point and free throws. You know, they got 9 players right now that's shooting over 40%.
Oof.
And that's from the 3 and from regular. And I think at least 5 of those players or 3 to 5 of those players, I think at least are shooting 45. Like they're hitting they're playing good, you know what I'm saying? And obviously they got a very deep roster. So that's just a very great team, you know. But you know, with the Mavs, you got Doncic. You know, I feel like they don't excel at anything specifically, but they still have a way above average player in Doncic. You know, he's gonna go out there and do his thing. He's pretty much averaging 27, 8, and 8. You know, 48%, 35 from the 3. As long as you got Porzingis healthy and Tim Hardaway plays his role, you're gonna have a very interesting series. You know, but obviously every team have weaknesses. So you know, with the Clippers, they had a very inconsistent lineup most of the year. So you know, chemistry playing together.
Right.
You know,
right.
We'll see. Hopefully, you know, I don't wish injury on anything, but you know, a long playoff series is something you got to worry about when you got players who could go down at any point and be out for a long time.
Of course.
You know, so that definitely counts.
Especially when they've gone down before, yeah. So
Oh no, for sure.
Something in the back of my mind, but
Yeah. And then with the Mavs, you know, obviously, like they're a good team, but for me, I've seen them give way too much in crunch time. Like they're literally the second worst team in giving up leads and performing bad when it comes to you know the last couple minutes of game and how you need to make sure you need to win the game. You know, then you're gonna have Kawhi guarding Porzingis, and you're gonna have PG guarding Doncic.
Yo,
so those
are some crazy matchups.
Exactly.
Right,
so that's just something that's just crazy. What about you? What do you feel about this series? How do you feel about these teams?
So this is gonna be an interesting matchup. I mean, like that last thing you said, like just those matchups alone, PG, Porzingis, Doncic, Kawhi, like just to watch those guys play on each other, that's gonna be, you know, just something a treat of itself. But obviously, like you know,
great playoff.
I think
basketball.
Porzingis is probably the best big man in this series. You know, there's nobody that can really hold him down in this series.
No, for sure not.
And Doncic is really this is the series where if they want to win, he's gonna have to show, you know, what he's got. He's gonna have to show why he's gonna be, you know, the future of this league. You know, everyone always, you know, anoints him as, you know, the next thing. Obviously, he's a great player.
Yeah, he will be for sure.
And he is gonna be a great.
Oh no, 100%.
You know, he's already playing great. He's already playing at all-time great level. But if he needs to win playoff series, you know, and actually playoff games,
he got to show up when it matters.
Yeah, he's got to take over those games to really, you know, show people in the league and get really great media attention around it. But obviously, you know, the Clippers from last year, everyone thought that they were gonna make it to at least Western Conference Finals against the Lakers, and that didn't happen.
Right.
But honestly, I think
they fell short.
You know, I think that they're at least gonna make it this year to the Western Conference Finals. So I got, you know, I'm thinking with Kawhi's defense on Doncic, you know, they have so many point guards that they can use. Pat Beverly, Reggie Jackson. Obviously, they got Rondo.
Playoff Rondo is scary.
Yeah. Playoff Rondo's he's always way better than the playoff George used to be. But hopefully, playoff George, like you said, turned into pandemic George. But the Clippers shot the best from the 3 this year, 41.4%. You know, that's great numbers. You know, when you're shooting over 40% from the 3, that's what you want to do. Shoot more 3s and then you shoot 2s.
Very efficient team on offense.
And if you look at some of the recent winners of the title, like the Golden State Warriors, you know, they've shot over 40% from the 3 and they won a title. So
that's the type of league.
That's the type of league it is, and that's the type of team the Clippers are right now. So right now it's going to be a tough matchup for Dallas, really, if they want to step it up. You know, obviously Doncic is going to need to play a lot better. But let me ask you who you got for this one, though. How many games do you think this is going to go, and who you got?
For me, obviously everything I just said, I got Clippers in 6. It could be 5, but like I said, you know, Clippers hasn't proven themselves to be able to just take the reins and take over. And obviously you got a very very prolific player, and Luka Doncic, and obviously amazing, in Porzingis. So I still give him a game or two, but I definitely got the Clippers advancing. I'll give them in 6. What about you? Who you got?
Yeah, well, this one we kind of agree too.
Nice.
This one we agree as well. I got the Clippers in 6 as well. I mean,
yeah.
I think Doncic and Porzingis are going to be able to win 2. Maybe one in LA, maybe and one at home as well. But it's just going to be too much. They got too much depth. The Clippers, they just have too many players. They can really hold down the front court. Obviously, Reggie Jackson's a good defender. Pat Beverly, as everyone knows, is a great defender. Playoff Rondo, he's a great defender, and he can obviously assist the ball whenever he needs to in the playoffs. So I think it's too much in the front court. Dallas doesn't have as much. They have Jalen Brunson. They have a few guys that can really play on the offensive side. But as far as defense, against some of the other guys like Rondo, like Pat Bev, it's not gonna happen. So I got 6 too. That's what I got. I got Clippers in 6.
That's a fact. Nice.
It's gonna be a good matchup though too.
Oh no,
good
for
to
sure.
watch.
That's gonna be some good basketball right there.
Yeah, it really is. And
100%.
especially those matchups with Doncic versus Kawhi. Those are gonna be nasty matchups.
Oh
right
yeah,
there.
yeah. Those defenses, especially if they're gonna switch a lot, but watching them key players match up against each other is all about. That's what playoff basketball is all about for sure.
Right.
So I love that.
Right. So what's the next matchup we got then?
Well, we got the Brooklyn Nets against my love, the Celtics, the Boston Celtics.
That's gonna be a tough one. Damn.
The Nets took us.
I don't even want to ask who you're gonna pick for this one.
They 3-0'd us on the season series. I mean, what can you say? You got JT. Obviously, he's balling out, doing his thing, playing great basketball. We just lost Jaylen Brown. You got Kemba Walker, who can give you 20. You obviously got Fournier, who can go out there and give you 20. So it's definitely, we got some good things going for us. But then you got pretty much the best offensive juggernaut team that's probably ever been compiled. I don't know how you stop that. At the end of the day, I understand Brooklyn don't have no defense. I get that they haven't barely played any games together with all 3 of them. So you're definitely gonna have to give them a little time to get that chemistry going. But with Kemba being a little bit of a liability that he is on defense, without us having no Jaylen Brown, it's gonna be a tough series for us. So it's definitely gonna be tough going against the Nets. So that's definitely a matchup that's still gonna be good basketball. I want to see I want to see Jason do some things. So we'll definitely be watching every second of it. But what about you? What do you feel about those teams in that matchup?
Yeah. So this one's gonna be a good one too. I mean, I'm gonna give it to Boston just for even making it in the playoffs. Obviously, Jaylen Brown was out, so Jason Tatum had to step it up a lot. The last few games I've seen the playing game, get to step it up. So them even being in the playoffs, I give them a lot of credit. I give them and Brad Stevens a lot a lot for pushing this team. No? Oh, man.
We should have done way better than we did
Of
this
course.
year.
Well,
way better.
Before he got injured for sure. But, afterwards, you guys lost 5 of the last 6 games of the season. But somehow you were still able to make it into the playoffs.
Disgusting.
But, that's what happens in the NBA. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes it happens the way it does. But, you never know what's going to happen in the playoffs. I mean, you guys are actually a pretty deep team. The Boston Celtics are. Obviously, like you said, Brooklyn is the number 1 offense in the league. As far as points scored, they're number 1 offense.
Right.
They got 3 guys that are going to be in a Hall of Fame. Actually, maybe 4 guys that are going to be in a Hall of Fame.
You think Blake?
I mean, him or Jordan. One of them. No, actually, let me stop because Blake is like Blake is like an iffy
on their
one.
stats. It
Blake
depends
is
on their
iffy
stats.
One.
Yeah,
because Blake hasn't won a championship yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They might win a champion. It might help their case.
If anything,
but
it would
they
have been
haven't
Blake.
excelled at really anything.
Right. If anything, it would be Blake. But no, I honestly,
For sure
I think he's like
Blake.
He's an iffy Hall of Famer. We'll see. His
We'll
career's
see
not
how
over. I can't say anything
We'll
yet.
See.
But obviously, 3 Hall of Famers, like I said.
For sure, 3 Hall of Famers.
they swept Boston 3-0 this year when they had a full roster.
Bro, it wasn't even fun to watch.
And it wasn't. They beat them by an average of 15 points.
Mm-hmm.
And they're obviously at full strength right now. And really, Boston has no matchup for Harden. They're going to put Evan Fournier and they're going to put Marcus Smart on him. But Harden is the one matchup that I think you got to watch for in this series. I think he's going to have to take over. Jason Tatum, he can, in spurts, take KD.
Right.
He's got similar body length to him. He'll be able to play inside when he tries to go in. For those dunks. So he'll be able to at least match up with him well. But as far as Harden, there's really nobody to match up against Harden.
I hear you.
I don't see it. Kemba and Kyrie, they can go at it. That's gonna be a fun, interesting matchup.
Right.
There's gonna be a lot of crossovers, and I think that's gonna be really cool to watch because if you think about it, both of those guys are really the top. I don't know, maybe them and Curry. So Kemba, Kyrie, and Curry are the top 3 ball handlers in the league, in my opinion.
Crossover Kemba, man.
So
Cardiac Kemba.
I believe that, and that's why this is gonna be a great matchup as far as as far as ball handling goes, and 2 of the greatest ball handlers that the game's got to offer right now. So it's gonna be interesting to watch
for sure.
But how many games you got this series, and who you got to win it?
It's gonna pain me to say this, but I definitely got the Nets in 5. Like I said, you got 3 like you said, you got 3 Hall of Famers, and I definitely understand that. We got great role players, but at the end of the day, there's nobody who can stop KD. There's nobody who can stop Harden, and there's nobody who can stop Kyrie. So it's like,
right,
it's just gonna be too much. So I definitely got the Nets in 5. I'll give us one good competitive game, but that's gonna be a very, very, very tough series. So what about you? Who you got?
Oof, man. You know what, man? If you guys were at full strength, if Boston was at full strength, I'd probably say this was a 7-game series, and it might even be a toss-up. Just because Brooklyn hasn't really played together all year. Now they're at full strength, but they've only played together 8 games all season.
Right.
So, I would have gave you guys a better chance, but because Jaylen Brown's out. Because I don't think anyone's going to be able to really take Harden, I got Brooklyn 4-1. That's who I got. I got them winning in 5 games. That's pretty much it.
So that's another one we agree on.
Right. I mean, that's honestly, most people are going to say that. Vegas even has that one pretty high, so you can't really say much about that one. A lot of people got Brooklyn going pretty far this year, So what can you really say about that matchup? I know this is your favorite team, so it's a little bittersweet.
No.
It's a little bittersweet for this year, but you guys made it pretty, you made it pretty far this year. I mean, obviously you thought you were going to do better. Everyone thought
we should have did better.
Was going to do better. We'll see what happens though, So we'll see what happens with the series, So what about the next one? What's the next series that's on the lineup right here?
So the next one we got is going to be the Blazers versus the Nuggets. So the Nuggets took that series. Right, it's going to be a great series. I can't wait. It's going to be some great basketball. The Nuggets took that series 2-1 over the year. I mean, what can you say? You got great players versus great players. MVP candidate Nikola Jokic versus Damian Lillard, Dame Time out there doing his thing, shooting from the logo. Pretty much you got Nikola 26, 10, and 8, probably going to win MVP. Mm-hmm. Murray's out, but you still got a good team. You got Michael Porter Jr. is definitely a most improved candidate. So you got depth there. For sure. You definitely got people there. And then with the Blazers, you got the one of the best backcourts you got in the league. And then obviously you got one of our favorites, Carmelo Anthony. He's gonna out there and do his thing. And then people sleep on them, but they got they got the second best offense. When you got scorers like that, they put the ball in the basket, and another team, they got 6 different players that score 10 points per game. And people don't think people realize that. So at least 10 points per game. You know what I'm saying? At least double digits. You know. So that's not the easiest thing when you got prolific scorers like that and still trying to share the ball with a few other players. So that's definitely gonna be a tough series. But obviously with the Nuggets, like I said, you don't have Jamal Murray. And obviously, Jokic stepped it up on defense, but their paint defense is pretty bad. So when it comes to the playoffs, you got to be able to stop people from coming into the paint. That's definitely going to be crucial. And truthfully, the Trailblazers aren't any better when it comes to paint defense. It's like they got one of the best offenses, but then one of the worst defenses. Is really honestly different to see. So that's something that's going to be a tough matchup, and that's going to be definitely hard to see. So what about you? What do you feel about these teams and these matchups?
Well, this is going to be a great one. All I know is this is going to be a great series. I can't wait to watch this one. I can't wait to watch Dame in the playoffs. I love watching Dame in the playoffs. Tell me he doesn't hit one clutch shot per playoffs. He's at least
my man is doing his thing.
He's got at least one clutch shot.
Sending people home.
Sending them home. Exactly.
Sending them to new cities and new teams. Come on, man.
That man is ridiculous in the playoffs. Obviously Denver has no Murray, but Jokic is MVP candidate and
the best player on both teams for sure.
I think he might be, and Denver's been doing a lot better since they got the trade from Orlando for Aaron Gordon. They've gotten a lot of help on that power forward spot. So now they're getting a lot more size. Obviously, they needed somebody next to Jokic because Jokic likes to stay outside. He likes to shoot the three a lot, so sometimes he doesn't get as many defensive rebounds, but he does get the offensive ones. But as far as the Denver team, they got Will Barton, they got Monte Morris, so they got a lot of backcourt people that can really take over the game. Denver played them 2-1 in the regular season. That was with Murray. But you got Carmelo Anthony playing his old team, the team that drafted him number 2. Number 3, actually, excuse me, because it should have been the Detroit Pistons drafting him number 2. Darko Milicic.
It's going to mean something for him for sure.
No, of course, he's playing his old team, so it's sentimental. Definitely sentimental. But you got the 2 Eastern European players playing, the 2 centers, Nurkic versus Jokic. That's going to be a good matchup, They actually, they played together back in the Euro League when they were a lot younger, so they know each other pretty well. And this is going to be a great series. That's all I can say. One of the best backcourts, like you said.
For sure.
And I don't know who you got for this one. Who you think's going to win?
That's going to be a very, very difficult series, I think. And I think it's going to go the distance, 7 games. But truthfully, I think even without Jamal Murray, you got the best player on the Nuggets and a decent deep squad. So I think it's going to be Nuggets in 7. It's going to be a well-fought, well-hard series. I wouldn't be surprised, literally would not be surprised if the Blazers take it off. Like it for me, it's really kind of a 50-50. It's really kind of 50-50 for me. So like it's hard to explain, but I personally will choose Jokic. I feel like he has a chance to really step up in that first round, really make that MVP case, and just move on. So that's why I got Nuggets in 7. What about you? Who do you got?
So this is the first one that we're disagreeing on this first round matchup.
Wow.
But actually
it's pretty close. It's a 50-50. Yeah, it's pretty close. It's a very close matchup.
I actually got Portland in 7 too. I got Portland winning the 4th.
I think it's going to go to distance.
Yep, I got him winning the last game. I think, obviously, I just believe in Dame. I believe in Dame in the playoffs. He can easily get 50. Easily go for that. And honestly, so can CJ. Both of them can. And I believe in them both. I really think that they're going to take over the game. Obviously, Denver's got Jokic, but no Murray. Murray's like 20 points per game for them. They're going to need more scoring from Aaron Gordon, from Will Barton, of course, from Porter Jr. as well. But I just feel like Carmelo playing his old team, a little bit of emotion. Lillard in the playoffs, wanting to, bring his team, a little bit higher. Wanting at least, show what he's got in the playoffs, show that he's actually a clutch, which everyone should already know by now.
Right.
But he is. But that's what I think about this game, and I think that Portland's gonna get it 4-3.
So we both got 7 games, but we got one or the other coming out. So all right.
But real quick, kind of on real quick, who you got for this one? Best backcourt in the league right now: Westbrook and Beal, CJ, and Dame Lillard.
Oh, that's really a tough one. I mean, on one end, you got Dame Time Logo Lillard, who's been known to end series, be clutch and send people home with the amazing backcourt partner who can score his butt off. And then the other end, you got Mr. Triple Double King versus someone who barely missed out on the scoring title this year. Honestly, man, and they're in the playoffs. Obviously, both of them in the playoffs right now. But it's so weird because I don't think in the beginning of the year I would have made this choice.
No, I mean,
but after what just happened towards the end of the year, I have to give it to the Wizards. I mean, my man Russell walked away with the Triple Double King, with the crown, became the king, and like I said, Bradley Beal barely missed out on the scoring champ.
The last 7 games, he had like 15 assists per game.
Oh, and literally, and on the John Stockton assist record. So for sure, I have to unfortunately give it. And I love Dame, and probably, like I said, before last year, I would have gave it to Dame and them. And in the beginning of this year, I still would have gave it to Dame and them. But at the end of the year, I have to give it to Russell and Beal.
I agree with you, bro. That's a really good one. But I agree with you. Same thing. Like if it was last year, I would pick Dame. I would pick Dame and CJ. They played amazing last year. But this year, after All-Star break, Westbrook stepped it up like crazy. And obviously they've been playing amazing. They made it in the playoffs. But let's talk about the next matchup real quick. Let's talk about the next one we got.
We have the Wizards versus the 76ers. So, the 76ers won this series 3-0. I mean, obviously, we just talked about Russell Westbrook, Mr. Triple-Double, and Bradley Beal, who barely just missed out on the scoring champ. So, obviously, you got very good players on both teams. On the other end with the 76ers, you got MVP candidate Embiid and Defensive Player of the Year candidate, Ben Simmons. So, it's going to be a very tough matchup. Russell Westbrook is probably the most intense player that's ever stepped foot on the court. He's going to bring it. He's going to try to kill it. He's going to try to destroy him. Bradley Beal is just lethal. He's going to try to put the ball in the basket. That's what he's going to do. That's what he gets paid to do. That's what he's great at. You know what I'm saying? And then the other end, you got one of the best big men in the league. Probably one of the best down low, real, back to the basket big man in the league. So it's going to be hard to find someone to guard him. They're going to have to do it by committee for sure. And then obviously you got someone in Ben Simmons who can do it all. And it's for sure going to be guarding, or at least should be guarding, one of the best players, even if it is a guard. And I think he will be trying to guard at least Bill or Westbrook. So for that, obviously they got all the accolades, I just named off everything that they could do great. You got the number 1 seed versus number 8 seed. I feel like that's just something that's just kind of written in stone. What about you? Wizards versus 76ers. How do you feel about that series, and who do you got?
Well, I'm glad we're talking about this matchup now when we just talked about, best backcourt. So that's perfect. Obviously, like we said before, Westbrook's been balling out. Washington started the season 17-32. They were terrible. The last 23 games, they were 17-6. That's they're tied for the 3rd best record in the league over the last 23 games. That's ridiculous.
I think it was less than 1% chance to make the playoffs at some point in the season.
Yep, that was like around the All-Star break. I remember that. But obviously he was out a little bit. Westbrook was out, came back. Obviously Bradley Beal, second in the scoring title. Curry took it, but what can we say? He's been playing amazing as well. But this year, Philadelphia took the series 3-0, and they got amazing they got amazing players on a squad. Obviously, Embiid's up there for the MVP. Ben Simmons is up there for Defensive Player of the Year.
Right.
What can we say about their other players? They got Harris, they got Bertans who can hit threes. Those are going to be the players that you really got to look at. Seth Curry's. Those are the players you got to look at. The players that can hit threes, because Washington doesn't really defend good against the three. You know, Embiid playing against them, he had an average of 30 points, 9.7 rebounds, 3.3 assists, and 60% shooting.
They have nobody for him.
And
absolutely nobody.
Like you said, they got no one. They really don't. Alex Len cannot guard Embiid. I don't see it happening. No way, no how. Like, it's just not going to happen. Like, there's no way. Embiid is too much for him. You know, I mean, Washington's been playing great, like I said. And like we just talked about, they got one of the best backcourts in the league. You know, what they can do in the backcourt, they can shoot threes. Obviously, Westbrook pushes the ball. He gets a lot of assists. Ray Huchimara is a great player as well.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, let me know who you got. Who you got for this one. You know, how many games and who you got. And then I'll tell you.
Well, like I said, it's 1 versus 8, kind of written in stone. I'll try to give them the Wizards one good game because the 76ers are just known to just let their guard down and give one up, even when they're at their best. So I'll give it 76ers in 5. What about you? Who you got?
So you know what? This one, I'm actually going to give Washington a little bit more of a chance.
One more game?
I am. I'm going to give them... Yeah. I still got Philly. Of course, it's the one,
right,
it's the number one team in the East.
For sure.
But I'm going to give them one more game. I think it's going to be a 6-game series.
Nice.
I think Philly's going to take it in 6. And Washington might... I think Brad and obviously Russ can do some things. They can score on offense.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure. I mean, Westbrook, when he hits his shots, he's good. But he hasn't really been trying to do that. Obviously, when he gets like around 15 assists a game, he doesn't take as many shots. So he's able to distribute more.
He knows it's crucial to get them involved.
So they've been winning a lot more because of that. And
for sure.
And, you know, I think they'll be able to get at least 2 games out of this. You know, they're going to make it a little tough matchup for Philly, who's going to have to, you know, have a long series and then have to play another team, you know, later down the road who might not play as long as they do. So this one's going to be a tough one. I really do. I really think this one's going to be a tough one. And, yeah, I got them 4-2.
I feel you. Philly like to get started slow, so I feel you on that. But definitely still got the first seed coming out that first round.
Right, of course.
For sure.
Gotta have that, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, Philly's getting out of there.
Yeah. So next we got the Lakers versus Suns. Now this might be the scariest 7th seed in history. This is gonna be hard, man. I mean, what do you say? The Suns actually took the series 2-1, but you got definitely injuries throughout the years for the Lakers.
Oh yeah.
You know, the Lakers are out here 2nd defensively. The Suns are out here 7th defensively. You know, you got the story where the Suns came out of nowhere. You know, it's just gonna be a game of matchups. You know, CP3, D Book. You know, DeAndre is gonna have to. Ayton is gonna have to step up against AD. You know, I don't know who's gonna guard LeBron, either Bridges or Crowder. You know that it's gonna be tough, but you got 2 of the best players in the same team. You know, obviously they're coming back from injuries. We don't know if they're 100%. It's gonna be a long playoff series, but at the end of the day, like, who can guard both of them? So it's gonna be a tough series, but it might be the first one where. The 2nd seed might actually be the underdog.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's going to be weird. Yeah. What about you? How do you feel about these teams?
I mean, if you look at Vegas, Suns are looking like the underdog right now. You know, Vegas got Lakers as the favorite. And you know, how can you really count them out when, you know, they're at full strength? They're NBA champs. You know, they got way more size than the Suns. I mean, the only guy that the Suns have really as far as size is DeAndre Ayton.
That's it.
The guys that the LA Lakers have are Andre Drummond, LeBron James, Montrezl Harrell.
Bully ball.
Like, that is ridiculous. The LA Lakers are first defensive per 100 possessions. And Suns are actually really good as well. You know, they're top 10. They're 7th.
Oh, yeah.
Per 100 possessions. You know, so they're great as well. Like we said before, you know, the Suns played, you know, 8-0 from the pandemic bubble last year, and they've gotten a lot better this year with Chris Paul. You know,
they're playing great basketball.
Shoot a lot better from 3 actually too. He's gotten 3 percentage points better, which is great, from 39 to 42%. That's pretty good. You know, like you said, Phoenix beat LA, but in the regular season, but they weren't full strength, so you really can't judge that too much.
A playoff series is different.
Yeah, I mean, playoffs are a lot different, and you know, seeing LeBron playing the playing game, you know, seeing AD playing the playing game, and in the last few games of the season, you know, you kind of see that they're actually stepping it up a lot more. They're playing together more, and I don't know. I think I know who I'm gonna pick, but who are you gonna pick for this one?
Well, I mean, like I said, it's the scariest 7th seed I've probably ever seen.
It really is.
And the Suns did some amazing things, but I just can't count out the defending champs like that in the first round, especially if LeBron and AD both come to play. So me, personally, I'm going to go with the Lakers in 6. Obviously, I don't think it's going to be a scraping. It's going to be a tough series. Suns got home advantage, so that's why I think the Lakers could at least take all their home games and then still close it out before they get to the 7th game. So that's definitely how I feel. Lakers in 6. What about you? Who you got?
Yeah, I think we're in agreement right here. I got the Lakers in 6 too. I mean, it might be a shocker because it is a 2 seed versus a 7 seed. Maybe it might not be a shocker to some people, you know, because it is the Lakers, you know, and they were the NBA champs. But I think the Lakers are gonna win this one. I just do. I mean, you know, Monty Williams, he is my coach of the year. You know, Chris Paul's been playing amazing. Booker's been playing great as well. But like I said before, I think the Lakers have too much size. They got Harold, they got Drummond, they got James. They just can't hold those many people in the paint. Like, it's just too much for Phoenix.
Right.
I don't think they can do it. And I actually have the Lakers 4-2 as well. I got them winning in 6.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're in agreement right there.
All right.
Yeah, on this one. So what do we got for next up?
All right, we're almost wrapping it up. We got a few more
matchups.
Just a few more matchups.
You know, it was the first round. You know, these are some great matchups.
No, and definitely going to be great games.
Notice that we don't have anyone winning sweeps. Have you noticed that?
No. It's going to be a tough series for everyone.
So far, no sweeps, which is crazy.
No,
you know,
for sure.
Like usually in other years, you would always see a sweep here and there, especially 1 versus 8 maybe. You know, but this year there's really nobody that I think is sweeping, and I haven't heard anything from you yet.
They tossed around a few players here, a few teams here and there in the seedings to make sure it was interesting.
Oh yeah, for sure. This year it's definitely been more interesting. So what's the next one we got?
Next we got the Hawks versus Knicks. That's just probably the most interesting one. Just the fact that they're both sitting at 4-5 in the East, and probably no one thought that would happen. Knicks definitely took the series 3-0, and you know, both are great, amazing teams. You know, you got Trae Young doing his thing. You got a very good team, a deep team with Lou Williams coming off the bench. You know, they're 6th in field goal percentage. You know, obviously on the other team, you got Mr. pretty much Randall, most improved player of the year candidate. Rose, 6th man of the year candidate. RJ still scoring 17 with 5 rebounds. You know, so they're definitely you know, one of the top teams, you know, and they proved it for sure. Obviously, the bad parts, you know, the Hawks being 6th in efficiency or in field goal percentage, you know, no, they're 6th in field goal percentage, but 17th in efficiency. So that's not looking good. You know what I'm saying? They're definitely inconsistent. But unfortunately, you know, the Knicks, they're inconsistent on both ends as well. So, you know, it sometimes, you know, they make up for it overall on the stats, but not on defense. Their defense sometimes show through, and the stats back it up. So that's definitely going to be a tough series. I feel like both teams are very well matched up. They got good role players step into the roles, and I think it's going to be a well-fought series. What about you? What do you feel about this matchup in this round?
There's going to be an interesting one. That's all I know. Sure. I mean, interesting matchups, and you know, the point guards are going to be great in this one. Just watching them, that's going to be interesting. Obviously, you know, you got Trae Young on Atlanta, averaging 25.3 points a game, 9.4 assists. He's been, you know, ridiculous this year. And, you know, you got Alfred Payton and Derrick Rose, really, on the other team. You got to add them both together as one point guard, really. Because Derrick Rose is the 6th man of the year, and, you know, he's been playing amazing this year. He's been playing out of his mind, you know, after, you know, that Achilles injury that nobody wants to talk about.
For sure.
But, you know, the New York Knicks, they are ranked 3rd in bench scoring. You know, they got a lot of depth, you know, so you got to give them that. But then again, Clint Capella, when he plays against the New York Knicks, he's averaging 24 and 10, which is ridiculous.
Wow. They're putting work against
the Knicks. But the Knicks won 3 times in the regular season.
Right.
You know, you can't really judge can't judge it right now.
Right.
They're playing them tough, but they can't win the games. These games are coming down to pretty much the last 2 minutes of the game, because the average win for the Knicks was 4.3 points.
Yeah, so less than 5 points. Yeah.
You know, it's pretty much coming down to it. So you know it's going to be a tough series. They're playing each other tough. Both these teams were pretty much at full strength when they were playing each other. You know, they both got big men that can, you know, stay inside, like Randall and obviously Capella. You know, so it's going to be an interesting matchup, you know, down low, seeing what happens down there when they bang bodies. But, you know, this is going to be a very, very interesting matchup.
I can't wait to watch.
One? Who you got?
Who I got, like I said, or like you said, all close wins. So it's going to be a tough series, tough matchups, you know. They both excel in different places that match up well with each other. So I think it's going to be a well-fought 7-game series. But ultimately, I think the Knicks are going to pull it out.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. I think Julius Randle has a chance to take over. D. Rose is going to really have a chance to do what he's supposed to do. And obviously, like I said, RJ's out here scoring 15+. So he's still going to keep doing that. So that's who I got. What about you? Who you got?
You know what I'm going to say? The Knicks are moving to the second round of the playoffs.
For sure. Like I said, if you ain't here first, I'll tell you again, the Knicks are written off.
Moving up to the second round. I'm going to agree with you, bro.
For sure.
I got the Knicks winning in 7 games.
Tough
this is
series.
Gonna be a tough one. Even though the Knicks won 3-0 in the regular season, like I said, it was very, very close. Trae Young could always take over at the end of the game.
And Lou Williams.
And of course he can. Of course. Oh, let's talk about Lou Williams being on the squad. Oh, he's been playing lights out too.
For sure.
Great matchup. I got this one 4-3 as well. I mean, but in the end, I got Tom Thibodeau moving on with Randall, with RJ, you know, with D Rose. I would love to see that just as an NBA fan, seeing D Rose move on as well, and seeing the Knicks in the playoffs is interesting too. Like,
and it's gonna be an amazing series. It's gonna be such. I can't wait for playoff basketball, man. It's already the play-in games. It's already set the tone. You know what I'm saying? Like, the intensity's already there. So that series is gonna be freaking amazing. I love it.
These matchups are gonna be crazy.
For sure.
We're getting some really good, like some treats right now. We're getting some like real treats. These first rounders, these are great. And so we're pretty much almost there. What's the last one we got?
We got one more matchup.
We got one more matchup.
And we got Jazz versus the Grizzlies.
The Jazz, yeah. I mean, that was the last. Actually, it was the last game of the play-in, wasn't it?
Yeah. Warriors versus the Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies came off with a tough.
That's right.
Nail biter in overtime.
That was a crazy one.
But Ja Morant stepped up. For that matchup, the Jazz took the season series 3-0. You know, with the Jazz, you got the number 1 team. In the West, you got rookie defensive player of the year. You got 2 6-man candidates. You know, that's just ridiculous. That's just a disgusting team right there. You know, they rank 4th in offense, 3rd in defense, top 5 in both. So obviously they're gonna put it to you on both ends. And then with the Grizzlies, you got Ja Morant, you know, and Brooks. You know, both shooting amazing. Ja Morant has been taking the pressure that people's been giving him. They've been trying to step under the screen a lot recently. He's been taking that shot, being more comfortable in the shooting, you know, going to work. And, you know, they got everyone else trying to step into the roles and just play well, too. You know, pretty much, obviously, like I said, 1 versus 8 is usually written in stone. You know, Ja Morant's been playing well. Just dropped a 35-point game against the Warriors to get into the playing game, including 5 for 10 from a 3. Like I say, he's taking that challenge and make sure he's, you know, they keep telling him, take your shot, keep feeling comfortable. You know, it's going to keep falling. So they're definitely playing great. He also got 6 rebounds and 6 assists in that game as well. So that's definitely a great game. You know, they're going to play well. You know, the Jazz, obviously, they have no individual. I mean, they're just great at everything. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain their weakness. It's kind of weird. Like, they don't necessarily excel at one specific thing.
But they're good at everything.
But they will catch you everywhere. It counts. So, you know, as long as Mitchell come back healthy, and you know that's gonna be a series that's pretty much gonna be pretty much what it is. So that's something how I feel about it. What about you? How you feel about that last matchup?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It's gonna be an interesting series. Just seeing the way that the Grizzlies played in the play-in. I mean, that was interesting to watch. John Morant. You didn't think he was gonna step up like that. I mean, especially
off the jump, he hit 2 threes just going off.
Warriors. Yeah. I mean, come on now. Like, you got to give him credit where credit's due. Obviously, they got a pretty good squad. They got a lot of depth. You know, the Grizzlies. You know, they don't have a lot of veterans on their team. You know, a lot of playoff experience. You know, they don't have that. Right. But they do have a lot of young guys that are hungry. Not that much.
Oh yeah, they ready to step up.
And then you got Utah. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell is back for the playoffs. He's gonna be back for Game 1. He's averaging 26 points a game, 4.4 rebounds, 5.2 assists. You know, Gobert is the defensive player of the year. Obviously, you got Clarkson and Ingles as 6 men of the year. So they got awards going all over there.
Oh yeah, disgusting team all
obviously
around.
The coach is up for a coach of the year as well. So awards are all over that team.
Everyone.
But the question is, are they going to be able to like prove it in the
exactly.
playoffs?
Yeah,
the awards are everywhere.
Yeah.
They might get these awards too. But are they going to be able to prove it in the playoffs? And I think the Grizzlies are going to be a pretty tough matchup for them. You know, the Grizzlies got pretty good defense inside. You know, Jaren Jackson, he's a good defender. They also got, some guys that could really shoot the three. You know, obviously Morant stepped it up the last few games of the season, as well as the playing game. He definitely stepped it up. And if he can do that again, I think this might be a more interesting series. But who do you think is going to win this one?
So who I got is pretty simple. It's going to be Jazz. But honestly, based on the game I just watched from the Grizzlies, not just tonight, but against the Spurs, but just tonight, like John Morant's really ready to take on that challenge. I'll give him 2 games. So I'll give him Jazz in 6. So that's how I feel about it. Eventually, obviously, the 1 seed's gonna walk away with that and just move on. But that's how I feel. What about you? Who you got?
I was going back and forth with this one, but not the winners, but the games.
Nah, I feel you.
I was going back and forth between, either 6 games or 5 games, and I ended up with 5 games, Utah winning it in 5.
Especially if Donovan's healthy.
But like you said, John Morant, he can definitely take over a game easily, 2 games easily. It might be one of those things where a few of these games are very close, and it might go either way. So it could be 6 games, but I'm just gonna stick to my guns and go with 5 games. I think Utah's got too much size for him. Gobert in the middle, he doesn't let anyone go inside, and Morant, he loves to go inside and do layups and go on to the foul line.
It's gonna be hard getting in there.
So
that's why they lost every game in the season. So I hear you.
Yep.
I for sure hear you.
Yep. So it's gonna be tough, but like I said, I got this one 4-1 Utah, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for the first round of the playoffs. At least.
Yeah, those are the 8 matchups for sure.
Those are the 8 matchups. Yep.
We got some great basketball though.
Oh man, what great matchups though.
For sure. But I think we all had some good picks. Obviously,
not everything we agreed on for sure.
Oh no. Yeah. Especially with the awards. I can't wait to actually see what come out.
Yeah, me too.
And see who wins. So we'll definitely see what those awards are.
And a few of these matches we got like different games for sure. So I mean different winning teams, and we'll see. We'll see.
It's NBA playoff basketball, man. Like
anything can happen, bro.
If you don't love it, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Right.
It's amazing. So it's gonna be some good games. It's gonna be some good rounds, But that's basically what we have for you today.
Right.
Next week we're gonna get a little more in depth on that first round. We got a few games to look at, see how the matchups are actually working. See what we're gonna do, see how we actually feel about our picks and predictions, and
that's
obviously
right. Take a look at some.
At the end of the day, see who's gonna move on, because that's what it is. We're 1 step closer to an NBA champion.
That's right.
So that's what it's all about, and I can't wait to indulge in it. So it's gonna be a amazing next couple weeks. We're gonna have some players excelling at what they do. And it's just
we got a lot of great playoff basketball, a lot of great stuff to watch on TV. Seriously, a lot of matchups, a lot of teams that are really trying to make it, that are trying to prove something that they really have to. A lot of players that have to prove something. So it's gonna be so crazy to watch. It's gonna be so crazy.
We definitely got excellent players on every team that's in the playoff right now. Definitely ready to step up and do what they're supposed to do. So it's definitely going to be some good playoff basketball, and it's going to be a fun week watching those first few games and see how those first rounds start off for sure.
That's for sure. And we just want to thank you guys again for
yes, sir,
for listening, for following us on social media. You know, if you want to tell your friends about us, we love that, and also follow us wherever you find us on social media. We're everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even maybe.
We loved all the follows. We loved all the support. You know, we got some likes, some comments. You know, just we don't even care if it's critique. Just let us know how you feel. Let us know what you love. Just definitely communicate with us. We love talking to our fans.
Of course, and this week was more, structured because it is the NBA playoffs. But we love hearing from you guys about topics and about different things.
Let us know what you want to hear, for sure.
Let us know if you guys want us to talk about something. You know, we definitely, put it in the podcast. We'd love to hear from you guys. And we just want you guys to follow us and subscribe to the podcast wherever you find your podcast.
Yes, sir.
And just make sure you tune in to the next time of Who You Got with Melo and Rado.
Rado.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Peace out.
Peace.